here's what we have. When you start these problems, they're giving you a drawing. The drawing is used over multiple different problems. So this problem, this picture is not drawn to scale. So when they ask you to find a certain angle, like find its measure, find the number, do not put your protractor down and measure it. Because if you measure EBC up here, that may not be the number the back of the book says. Because this isn't drawn to scale. They literally use the same picture for number 8, 9, 10. Like, obviously you're not going to be doing it for every single problem. So, let's kind of walk through what we need to do here. What I do, no joke, when I get this problem, this is what I see. I draw this in my homework, and then I'm going to label all the stuff they gave me on that picture. The other big thing you need to do is read the instructions above the problem. So when they give you this problem, they're giving me this above it. That tells me something super important. BE, that's this stick right here, that's that ray. That ray is bisecting DBC. DBC is this very large angle. What does it mean to bisect something? What does bisecting mean? We talked about that word last week. It was like last Friday, I think we introduced it. What is a bisector? We're going to bisect something. It was one of our constructions we talked about. We're going to bisect an object. What does the word bi mean? Two. Sections means what? Sections? Cut in parts. 2 parts. So, if BE is bisecting this angle DBC, what can you tell me about the 2 parts? What can you tell me about the 2 parts if this is going right down through the middle of them?
Separated.
They're what?
Separated.
They're separated and? Equal. This is a big thing. I'd like you to put little marks here. Bisecting literally means they're cut into equal, perfect parts. BE is going right through the middle of DBC. DBC is this angle, we cut it into 2 perfect halves, bisecting, right? Now that we've understood that from the directions, now I'm going to go to the picture and I'm going to label all the stuff they gave me. They're giving me DBE, that is, DBE is 2x plus 1. D to B to E, that is this angle, 2x plus 1. Remember the 3-letter system, the B is that where the vertex is. So DBE. DBC, this entire angle, the big angle here, D to B to C, that is a 3x plus 10. Okay, does that make sense, the labels I put? I do this every time, no joke. If this is my homework problem, I'm literally drawing the picture and I'm labeling the parts on the picture. I'm a very visual person, I need to see it. Okay, are we good with the setup and the labeling? Now, let's go to something else we need to think about. If these 2 angles are the same, right, they're equal, then what label can I put in here? If these 2 angles are the same, what label can I put right here? 2x plus 1. Okay, you guys got that figured out pretty quick. This is 2x plus 1, duh. They're the same angle. The 2 next to each other are the same. They told me that in the instructions. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so here's how you solve this problem. We need to add the small pieces together to make the large angle. When you look at that picture, what are my 2 small pieces? There, 2x plus 1, 2x plus 1. Those are my 2 small pieces. I'm going to add them together. What is the entire angle? What's the big angle? 3x plus 10. That's the big angle. That's the label they gave me. Does that make sense? I'm adding the 2 small pieces and I'm making the very large angle there. Now, that's an algebra 1 problem. I have a bunch of x's, a bunch of numbers I can solve. So, to do this problem, you just add like terms, move some stuff around, solve. Somebody walk me through. What's the first step? How do I solve this? Add some like terms. What can I add over here?
4x.
4x plus
2.
That should equal 3x plus 10. That's good. Good adding like terms. Nice job on that. Now, okay, subtract the 3x across. Kind of like that. We can subtract the 3x over. And what else can we do with that 2?
Subtract it over.
Yeah, subtract the 2 over here. So I'm bringing, basically what I'm doing is I'm bringing the 2 over, I'm bringing the 3x over. That's what I'm doing. I'm switching their spots. So when we do this, here's what we get. We get, well, the 2's over here gone, 3x's are gone here. So what's 4x minus 3x? 1x or x. 10 minus 2?
8.
8, okay, boom. We just figured out my x is an 8. So, go plug it back in. That's pretty easy. The angle I'm looking for is now all my x's are 8s. I'm gonna go over here to the picture. I need to figure out what angle I want. They told me this in the problem. They want EBC, so I'm gonna go find EBC. That's this angle right here. And what do I need to plug in here? 8, plug an 8 in. So I'm gonna go 2 times 8 plus 1, which is? 17, done. There's your answer. So if you check the back of the book and you're like, all it says is 17. I don't even know what they're doing. That's what they did. They solved for x and they plugged it back into whatever angle they were looking for. Now, that seems all easy peasy, but the problem is, you gotta know what you're given, right? You have to be able to look at that problem and go, okay, here's what I have, I labeled the parts, and then know, because they don't really tell you what to do, right? You have to know, okay, I can add these to make the big piece, or, you know, certain parts. We're gonna do 2 more of these to make sure you know it. Okay, did the first one make a little more sense than just leaving you to figure it out?
Yes.
Okay, let's do a couple more. Let's change it up. This next one will look a lot like number 10. Hint, 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 hint. Okay. Let's put some different labels here. Okay. I'm gonna keep the same instruction. Let's switch up what they give me here. All right. So new problem, let's go with angle ABD is an x plus 5. And let's go with angle EBC is a 2x plus 3. And the question is, what is angle ABE? I want to measure it. Okay, same instructions as before. So if before I even start labeling, I know some of you are still writing. Before I start moving everything over, let's read the instructions above the picture. BE is bisecting DBC. So if this is going through the middle of this angle, what's it doing to the angle? That's bisecting this angle DBC. Yeah, so 2 angles are the same, okay? So we know that. That's what those little red markers mean. It means those 2 angles are congruent, they're equal. Okay, so that's instructions, same instructions we had before. They have the same wording for each picture. Okay, what I'm gonna do next, let's take the parts they give you, let's put them on the picture. That'll make it easier to visually see it. Okay, so we have, what we have here is we have an ADB, that is this angle right here, that's A to D to B, or sorry, ABD. That angle is an x plus 5. Okay, there you go, there's that one. Let's go over to the other one, and the other angle, EBC, that is this angle over here. This angle is a 2x plus 3. That's EBC. Now, before I move on, before I start doing other things, is there any other labels I can use?
Put another 2x plus 3.
Good, nice. All right, so we can throw that other label in there. The reason why, we know the 2 angles are the same, I can throw the other label over where it needs to be. Good, okay, we get the idea now? Okay, so we have everything labeled. Now here's the hard part. They don't tell me a very large angle, right? They don't tell me, DBC or, an ABE. They're not telling me some big angle. They gave you the entire picture. This is something you can assume when you look at this picture, that what you get if you add up all 3 of these angles together. What should you get when you add up all 3 angles? What does it look like? And what type of angle? Okay, it's big, right? Some people are saying obtuse. But what is this object? That's a straight line. What does straight mean? these three angles should have to be 180. That's something they'll tell you that in the instructions. You have to assume that it is straight. They'll tell you that it is, that these are lines. So what I'm gonna do there is all three of those angles, I'm adding together, even though they didn't tell me to do this, I'm adding them together, all three of those angles to make 180. It's making an entire protractor. You can see the picture there. All three angles put together make a straight line. Does that make sense for how the angle addition works? How you're adding the three angles? That's tough because they didn't tell me to do that. I have to see that from the picture. Don't ever assume that certain angles are 90s or 45s or anything, but you can assume straight, because they'll probably tell you that, or you can tell from the instructions certain angles have to be the same, they tell you that too. But don't assume any other angles are something specific. Okay, how do we solve this?
Subtract 11, or sorry, 5x plus 11.
Okay, good. So you're adding the x's, we got 5 total x's, we have the 11, that's 3, 3, and 5. And you're absolutely right. So the first step, you can set it. Subtract the 11 across. So if we subtract that over, what is that, 169? Next step. Divided by 5. Divided by 5. And you're gonna get a weird decimal. You might have that. It's totally fine. I'm just gonna write down the decimal here. So 169 divided by 5, it's not gonna be a pretty number. It's 33.8. 33.8. Okay, fine, dandy, don't care. What do we do next with it? Heard it? Yeah, plug it back in. Here's the problem. We have to go figure out where to plug it in, right? So you gotta go, okay, what does the question ask for? We found X. The question's asking for ABE. ABE is this angle right here. That's ABE. That means I'm gonna have to take my 33.8, plug it in here, and plug it in here, and once I get those numbers, then I can get to my final answer. So I have to do both. So that's x plus 5 and the 2x plus 3. I have to plug my 33.8 in there, so that way I can add these together. Because if I add those two angles together, that'll make my total ABE. That's what that question's asking for. It's not easy. You had to see that. You have to plug that back in. So 33.8 plus the 5, that's what, 38.5, or 38.8, sorry. So that's plugging that in there. 2 times that, that's a 16, carry 1, that's a 7, 6, so 67.6. I add a 3, so that's 70.6. And adding them together, I'm getting a, what, 108, no, 109.4. Is that right? So let me double check my math. Can't add in my head. I can multiply, I can't add. You good? Everyone's done? Okay, I don't know. Can't add, seriously, I can't add in my head. Multiply and divide in my head, can't add. All right, so. Questions at all about that style of problem? That looks really close to number 10, the idea of what you're doing with it. Okay, we're good so far? The last question we need to walk through. Okay, I'm gonna pull it right from the book, so hint, hint, you might wanna write this one down. Last question of the day. All right, what do we got? We have ACEFH. All right. Here's a picture. ABC. EFH. And this is definitely not drawn to scale. I am letting you know that right now. I butchered that picture. Okay. They had these marked, and I believe they said that BH bisects angle EBC in the instructions. And the question, EBH angle EBH is 6x plus 12, and angle HBC. HBC, okay, that's what I said. HBC, 8x minus 10. All right. EBH. Questions? May have their hand up. Oh, I thought I was supposed to be hand up. All right. Well, as you write that down, draw it out. We'll kind of go through the instructions. I'm going to approach this problem just like I was doing the last ones. We'll kind of walk through it. I can show you my approach for how I always attempt these problems, because obviously I'd be drawing this. Okay, I know some of you are still writing, still drawing. Get the idea. Before we even start, what do these little blue markers mean?
Same distance.
Yeah, same angle, same measurements. So they already told me that in the picture. I can see that from the book. I don't think that's going to play a big part in this one, but they do tell me that in the beginning. Those two angles are equal. They had that marked. The next thing I'm noticing, they told me we do have a bisector again. We have something bisecting. And this is why it's not drawn to scale. I already butchered this one. BH, this stick, is bisecting EBC. Here's EBC. So if this goes through the middle of EBC, what is it doing to angle EBC? So if this is going through the middle of it, what can you tell me about the two parts of EBC? This is going right down through the middle. Yeah, they're equal, right? So this angle right here, now this is why it's really bad. That angle is supposed to equal this angle. BH went right through the middle of EBC. So those two angles I marked in black were supposed to be the same angle. Sorry, I butchered the picture. I knew it right when I did it. Okay, so those two angles are supposed to be equal. Okay, let's label the parts here. What are they giving me? They're giving me EBH, that is this angle right here. That's this massive one. They're giving me this angle is a 6x plus 12. Okay, there's that angle. And they're giving me an HBC, that is this angle over here, is an 8x minus 10. That's HBC. Okay, what can you tell me about those two angles I just labeled there in green? What can you tell me about these two angles? This one and that one. What did we just talk about a little bit ago? They're equal to each other. The reason why you can see the marking. That bisecting, that was going down through the middle, meant these two angles are the same size. So what you're going to need to do is set those equal to each other. 6x plus 12, that should be equal to the 8x minus 10. You have to see that from the picture. They are the same angle because of the markings that I made. They don't look like it, but they're supposed to be equal. This problem, I'm not adding them up to make a total. I just know that they're equal because of that bisecting idea. So to solve, I'm going to subtract the 12, subtract the 8. So 6x minus 8x, and a negative 10 minus 12. So if I do this correctly, I'm getting negative 2x equals a negative 22. I divide by the negative 2, my x is an 11. What do I need to do with the 11? What should I do with the 11? Yeah, plug it back in, right? And I gotta go figure out where to plug it back in. Well, the question is, they want EBH. They want angle E to B to H. So EBH is this angle right here. This is EBH. So if I just take my 11 and plug it in, I'll get my final answer. So what I'm getting here is I'm getting 66 plus 12. What is that, 78? There's your, and that's what it'd probably say in the back of the book, right? Because I know, like, when you check the back, they just say it's 78. And most of you will just look and go, how did I get 78? I'm getting like x is 11. And they're probably plugging it back in. I'd say the hardest part about this assignment is just being able to look at the picture and know what to do. Are you setting certain things equal? Are you adding them together to make a bigger angle? Are you adding them to make 180? Like, you just have to look at the picture. So I have to draw it. Like, I can't do these without drawing it. I would never be able to figure that out. Questions at all about that problem? That might be number 38. Hint, 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 hint. Okay. Rest time is yours. You can work on your homework. You have homework due tomorrow. That's at page 14.